This is week 10's video review of Dreaming Waters. And before going into the main points about week 10's guest speaker and class presentation, the main overall rapping theme is how American romanticism, transcendentalism, and the concept of the state of nature and the state of man is all intertwined with Poe and how it has its effect and has influenced Edgar Allan Poe and his writing on the narrative of the on Pym. Before I go into all of it, the first main point is the background of Edgar Allan Poe. His mother died at 2. His father left. This is important because since his parents are gone, he was adopted by a fellow in Baltimore. And while they have a falling out, he tries to go to West Point, but that does not work out. So that's when he begins to start to write. But the overall main thing that a lot of people know about him is that he died at 40 years old in 1849 at a tavern in Baltimore, and he was known mainly as a drunk. A good main point is we looked at descriptions of the images of Poe, and it's really important because this gives us an inclination of Poe's compass and his purposive discourse. I thought it was very interesting when we talked about how everyone describes any photos of Poe describes him with bags under his eyes, which can exemplify his improprieties of drinking and drug use. And this shows how distraught he was as a person, which then I believe comes out in his writing. And then the third and really main important point about Week 10 was how we discussed about the narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket. We do it through the lens of American romanticism and transcendentalism. And before we can go into it, there's two main British authors that we should know that kind of influenced Poe. First one is John Keats, who's an English poet, and I believe he influenced him because on Keats' tombstone we hear that he has a quote that says, "Here lies one whose name was written water," and then the other poet was Shelley. Who could be also described as influencing Poe because he died at the age of 30 while he was taking his boat out the Ariel. It's pretty interesting how it's the same boat as Pym and Augustus was out in the first scene of the book. And then really a big, huge part was understanding how romanticism, the British and the American definition, really intertwined with Poe's current time and how it affected the rest of American literature. And brief definition of romanticism, the European definition was, it comes from John Rousseau, and he describes it that the dichotomy of the state of nature and the state of man, and how nature is good and it's man's actions and destructive behavior that is improper and which causes an imbalance. While the American take on romanticism was through Hawthorne. That was the first case with the Scarlet Letter, how he describes the Puritans that they should let go of the old European ways, and they should realize that they have an opportunity coming to America to start new with nature, man, and religion. And then the last main point we discussed about is interpreting transcendentalism through Poe. And the main thing we need to understand is that transcendentalism is an interpretation of what you view. And through transcendentalism, the most key figure is Emerson. Emerson is almost like the godfather. He starts the whole entire chain reaction that leads to the great American novel of Moby Dick. And so Emerson was a transcendentalist. He encourages nonconformity and real reflection towards the institution of economy, politics, culture, and society, and whatever you can think of on your compass. And really what is important, what he contributed was his divinity school address. And he said it was key, and he encouraged that the soul of the man was the guiding light for us to being critical about what's going around you and being critical of certain issues around you. And we also learned that if there's one thing that we gave the world, which was through literature, was we gave the world the freedom to write and the freedom of thought and universal reasoning, which then is huge because with Emerson, as stated before, It led to almost the great American novel, which was Moby Dick, and there's huge comparisons with Moby Dick and the narrative of Pym because Moby Dick was all about Ahab going after the great white whale, and this compares to in Pym how his demise is with the white whale, and also it's also huge how Moby Dick the novel is also about man and nature, which is perfectly just like what Pym's or the narrative of Pym is about, and about Edgar Allan Poe is about that dichotomy of man and nature. And those are my 5 main points.